So like this flower, there are many different parts. There's the petal, there's the leaf, and there's the stem, but it is just one flower, right? So this is how the Trinity works. The people who are against the Trinity, usually what they're coming for is the divinity of Jesus Christ being close to or equal to the Father, and that there's some type of separate God situation happening, but no more than the flower. St. Patrick is actually the one that came up with the three-leaf clover, being a great representative of the Trinity. The difference between the NIV and the ESV, in the Mormon Bible and the Jehovah's Witness Bible and the Latter-day Saints Bible, this is not like an equal difference, okay? Because the NIV and the ESV are legitly like not debatable translation differences. What you have with those other books from those major churches, you can't find those Bibles unless you're in that church, or if you seek that Bible out, because they actually remove verses from those books. That's the problem, is that they actually remove whole verses. So that's why you have a lot of people who come out of those churches and they go, oh, all the hundreds of other translations out there read so much differently, and there happens to be extra, words added in the ESV, NIV, and any other Bible than the one Bible that one church gave you. And you're like, why? Why is it when I read from this book, there's actually less words, and then I read this other book and there's all of a sudden new verses popping out of the blue? Because they're actually changing the Bible right down to removing what they don't like, meaning whole verses disappear. Sometimes whole books, whole chapters disappear because their books are very small and very thin. So this is Linda of Christ is King Forever. The other thing I just want to also note is that they also speak down about Jesus. Like they really speak down about him. And if we're equating him like the Bible does in Hebrews, to the order of Melchizedek, if he is like the best of all the high priests that ever were, and he's also the sacrifice. So he's the one who, like almost like the Levites, were given the permission to enter a certain part of the temple. He's the one who can enter and be without shame, and he's also the sacrifice that's being made. So he has a very different order, a different way. He's all these great things. If you could read like just even the heading in the book of Hebrews, and actually shows you who he really is. And when the God himself is saying that he's above the angels, that Jesus is above his son, Jesus is above the angels, in the book of Hebrews, you can see that when you play down that divinity, you're doing some major damage. So whether or not it's a salvation issue, I'm leaning more toward, if you don't know he is equal to or important to God on that level, and that he is a divinity on a three-person, not like, like the flower is a whole flower. It has many different parts, but it's one whole flower. But these are the different ways that God interacts with us and is able to bring us through the loophole that he created so that we could come through. In order for all that to work, there's something that had to be kind of chiseled down to a very simplistic form. And just like trying to explain maybe quantum physics to a child, there's nothing you're ever going to put on a piece of paper that's really going to do it real justice. There's nothing you can draw, or there's no way to simplify some big ideas that are going to be satisfactory, or going to be truly justifying exactly what is happening between the God, Son, and the Holy Ghost. But I do think the Trinity is the best way to do that. And on what level, and what place God, it's Jesus's head sits to God. I mean, that's an amazing concept and idea to think about. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't know him if you play down too much, and you make him out to be a prophet who rose from the dead, which no prophet ever did. You're playing down to a level where you wouldn't know him. And I think that's where it's kind of crossing over into something kind of dangerous, when it's like, if you don't know what kind of Lord he is and where he sits among the cosmos, among the angels, and where your place is compared to him, and where God is compared to him, or where Jesus is compared to God. If you don't know where that all is, you can't begin to understand who he is. So that's why I think I get a little concerned with this whole Trinity debate. I do believe in the Trinity, But I do notice that people who don't talk down about him, they try to pull him down to some type of, to their level. And it seems very strange to just kind of talk passively. Oh, he needed to be, like, he grew and he evolved and he didn't always have his power. And, and because all the the disciples were confused by what Jesus did, that somehow speaks on what Jesus was doing. No, they were fumbling fools like we are. They had no idea what was going on. The big plan wasn't for them to know. Just because they didn't know doesn't make the plan any less valid. So anyway, this is London of Christ is King forever. May God be with you.